That's the way to start the home season. That's the way to improve the record. 5-2 Phillies in the home opener, of course, at Citizens Bank Park. And we welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by our friends at Cure Auto Insurance, Ricky Paul Batalico, Mark Christopher Davis, and Ruben, I don't know, Amaro Jr.
I don't have a middle name.
I knew that as we welcome. That was an exciting, solid win. We can nitpick about a lot of different stuff, and perhaps we will, but a good one.
It is good. You look at numbers 1 through 4 in this lineup, I think it's kind of special. You look at Turner, he had a couple runs scored. You look at Schwarber had an RBI, JT a home run, Castellanos 2 for 3 with a run scored. That's run production. Everybody's kind of jumping in on that. Wheeler was good for the most part in this game until he hit the 5th inning. I thought those 29 pitches in the 5th inning should have been it for him. Rob Thomson thought elsewhere, maybe because of the World Series last year. He was trying to give him a little pat on the back and say, hey, good, go out there another inning. Let's see how that goes.
Might have been too much.
I did not like that move. Other than that, I thought everything went according to plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the bullpen was outstanding today. Wheeler did have the 3 walks, but this bullpen came in, and they were nasty. I know it's not Murderer's Row over there in the Cincinnati Reds dugout, but this is a bullpen that came in very poised, and the pure stuff coming out of them today, almost unhittable.
And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, it's about playing good, crisp games. This is exactly what they did. They played solid defensively. They pitched just enough to get the job done. And this is kind of a scrappy offensive team by the Reds. It's not, a veteran team by any stretch of the imagination, but they're grinding it out, and they had some pretty good at-bats, and it was a nice, crisp game, I thought.
But he's the guy who comes in right now first, is Soto. You comfortable with that?
Yeah, I mean, listen. We talked about this before in the pregame show. Soto's MO is he will walk guys. We understand that. But what he has in his back pocket is his ability to punch tickets, and that's what he did today. He can strike anybody out. There are going to be situations where maybe you call up bases loaded, and you need a strikeout. Maybe Alvarado was used 2 days in a row. Maybe Alvarado's that guy. We know that. But Soto can come in and punch tickets. That's what he does. He's got an electric fastball and that wipeout slider, and you saw that today out of Soto.
Yeah, and Soto, you have to remember, Soto has not pitched a lot for this club, and he's coming into a totally different situation. He's coming in to play against for the Phillies. It's the National League champion, and he was pitching for the Detroit Tigers. They had no chance. It's a totally different feel. He's got to get his feet wet, get comfortable. I think he's got nasty stuff. He's going to be a plus.
Mm-hmm. You do too, Pitch?
He does, yeah. He's got nasty stuff. Like everybody says, his MO is he's got some wildness to him. So what does Caleb Cotham have to do? Pretty much get rid of that. And I think they kind of did it with Alvarado. Alvarado was in that same boat. He couldn't get the ball over the plate. He was overthrowing the baseball, throwing it too hard, throwing it up out of the strike zone. All of a sudden he gets sent down in AAA, and now all of a sudden that cutter has come into play. And the reason why that works is because you have to stay on top of your cutters, which means when you're throwing your fastball, you're going to end up staying on top of that also. And those two pitches work very well together because they're out of the same arm slot, and nothing changes. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you start trying to spin a ball, maybe sometimes a guy's hand will try to spin with it, or their body wants to spin away. This, you stay on top of the ball, you drive it through the catcher's mitt, and you get that extra little movement with the cutter.
Let's go across the street right now. We check in with John Kruk, who called today's game on NBC 10 with Tom McCarthy. Krucker, I know you've had your fair share and then some of opening days. This is special. Anytime you get a win on opening day to open the home season, you got to love that, right?
Yeah, especially when you're the defending National League champs, and even more importantly, after a pretty bad road trip, to come back here and get in front of, we heard JT say, how excited the players were this morning when they arrived at the ballpark, knowing that they're going to play in front of these fans, and they know the place was going to be packed and it was going to be loud, and it's just another jolt of energy that they got after, like I said.
Hey, John, when you look at the top of this order, I mean, Trey Turner is an absolute joke at the top of the order, and I mean that in a good way. He scored 2 runs tonight. I mean, number one, how important is he? And number two, how many runs do you think he ends up scoring? He had 101 last year? Is that correct?
Well, Rick, if he stays healthy, and when Bryce comes back, he could score 140. Why not? 140, 145. Seems like he gets 2 hits every dang night. I think he has. It seems. I think one game he only got 1 hit. But we're gonna have to talk to him about that. But It just seems like, he's always had that knack, even when he was in Washington, because he had good hitters behind him, and Bryce and Soto some, and Ryan Zimmerman and guys like that in Washington. He's always had a good lineup behind him, and then in the Dodgers, of course, I think he hit third for the Dodgers. It still drove in 100 runs, but he could score 130, 140 with this offense. Especially with Schwarber hitting behind him. He's going to get hot. It ain't June yet, but he's starting to swing it a little better. And why not 140? What did Lenny score? 93, 145. Why not?
Johnny, you're looking at this bullpen, and you being a left-handed hitter, you got Soto coming in, you got Alvarado coming in. I mean, how would you attack these guys? These guys are nasty.
Well, when I knocked the donut off the bat, Ben, I'd be looking back at Fregosi saying, Ricky Jordan's available. If you want to come get me, I don't think I'd be upset. Soto, his velocity is great, but I heard you made a comparison. It is similar to Alvarado. The velocity, the sometimes lack of command by Soto gets him in trouble. But when he's in the strike zone and when he figures it out, he's going to be a great addition to this team. And he's in a new role. Rick, I don't know how that is going from closer to, 6th, 7th. I think in Texas, the game one, he was in the 4th inning, I think. So, I'm sure that's a role that he's not used to because he had been closing in Detroit. So, I think it's going to be an adjustment for him to come in the 7th inning. Like, can he get that same adrenaline in the 6th or 7th inning as he could in the 9th inning? And that's something that remains to be seen. But if what they did with Alvarado, if they can do the same thing with him, you got two filthy lefties coming out of that bullpen.
This is a winning edition of Yinglings.
Get up!
Zack Wheeler's numbers today, as he's strong. He had some issues, once the game got underway, but 5 1/3, 5 hits given up, 2 earned runs. And Ricky would suggest that maybe he might have been out of there a little bit earlier.
He should have been out. I'll talk about that later because I know we got to get to somebody.
We sure do. 5 strikeouts, no home runs, 92 pitches, ERA down to 5.59. Here's Rob Thomson postgame.
A lot of reminders in 2022 with Bryce and Reese raising the pennant. But was today kind of a perfect glimpse of what 2023 could be from Wheeler to JT's homer to the bullpen?
Yeah, it was all around really good game. I mean, Wheeler was lights out. He lost a little velocity at the end, but there's nothing physically wrong with him. And Bellotti came in and kept it right there. And Soto and Alvarado and Kimbrel were really good, obviously. Good offensive day. JT, big home run. Nice to see Casty get a couple of doubles and walk. Schwarber with a double and Sosa with the home run. I mean, I thought we played very well defensively. All the way around. So it was a really good ballgame.
Did you know that you were going to take Wheeler out after that inning?
Yes.
Did he know that?
No, not necessarily.
Because sometimes I wonder if they're thinking, well, this is my last inning, and that's when it kind of falls apart a little bit. Did you ever think about that?
Yeah, well, I told him to empty the tank going out in that inning. So, and that's usually an indication that it's probably going to be it. But,
What do you make of what Alvarado's done so far?
Incredible. He's got great stuff, and he's tough to hit, especially if you're a lefty off him. It's pretty intimidating at bat. So he's been really good for a long time.
Just extraordinary speed.
It's a joke how
it
quickly he
really is
accelerates.
game-changing speed.
Yeah, it looks it. Just eyeball it. I don't know what the timing of it
Free
is.
and easy. It's just like
You
he's
saw
got
him.
such a great gait.
You saw him going around second. It was kind of like I'm on cruise control. He's probably faster than any of us put together. But, I mean, and then all of a sudden he was like, oh, you're waving me home. All right, zip, done.
Yeah, and the beauty of that is it's an
Perfect.
11-year contract, and people are saying, well, that's too long. Well, his body type's going to allow him to have like a lot of this speed for a long time, I believe. At some point, he might slow down, but he's so athletic. So what? They'll slow down a little bit. They'll still be one of the fastest.
Wiry, fast. All right, here's Zack Wheeler post game in the clubhouse.
How did it feel to get back out there in front of the fans here in South Philadelphia today?
Felt good. I was really looking forward to it. Not the best for me, but it was fun to be back out there in front of these fans where we left off last year, and just playing in front of these fans is one of the best things that I've done in my baseball career. So it's always fun coming here and playing in front of these people.
What was it like watching that banner go up?
I mean, I didn't get to see it go up, honestly, because I was in the bullpen, but I heard it, and the fans went crazy, and that's why we love them.